that he was about 6 feet tall, that he was completely scourged all over his body, he was crucified.
What if the Passion of the Christ wasn't just a movie? What if behind one of the most powerful Christian films ever made, there was something far more mysterious, even dangerous? A film that Hollywood rejected. A cast and crew who suffered strange injuries. A lead actor who was literally struck by lightning on set. And a director who would never be the same again. This is the chilling, true story of the Passion of the Christ. The film that became more than just a story about Jesus. It became a spiritual battlefield.
Mel Gibson's obsession.
Before cameras rolled, before robes were bloodied, and before it became a cultural earthquake, the Passion of the Christ began with a man in crisis. Mel Gibson. In the late 1990s, Gibson had it all. International fame, Oscars, and power in Hollywood. But beneath that success, he was crumbling. Addiction, depression, and darkness were swallowing him whole. Then, something broke. Or maybe, something awakened. One day, alone and desperate, Gibson fell to his knees and cried out to God. That moment, he later said, was the start of his rebirth. And it sparked an obsession. Not with a comeback, but with the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. This wasn't a movie I wanted to make, Mel once said. It was a movie I had to make. My sins were the first to nail him to that cross. And so began his mission, not to create another Hollywood epic, but to capture, with brutal honesty, what Christ actually endured.
The film no one wanted.
Gibson dove into intense research. Scripture, historical texts, mystic visions, anything that could paint a clearer picture of Christ's final hours. He insisted Jesus would speak Aramaic, Romans would speak Latin, and nothing would be modernized.
No softening. No compromise.
But Hollywood didn't want it. Executives politely turned him down. An R-rated hyper-violent movie about Jesus, with no English, no stars, and no box office appeal? They laughed him out of the room. So Mel did something unthinkable. He poured $30 million of his own money into production, and another $15 million for marketing. No studio, no investors, no safety net. He wasn't just risking his fortune, he was risking his soul. Casting the unknown. Mel's next move raised even more eyebrows. He refused to cast any Hollywood stars. Instead, he chose Jim Caviezel, a devout Catholic known for small, quiet roles. When offered the part, Caviezel didn't hesitate. Even when Mel warned him, "If you take this role, you may never work again." Jim's response? We all have to embrace our crosses. From the start, this wasn't just acting. It was sacrifice. And then came the boldest choice yet. Filming the entire movie in ancient languages, Aramaic, Latin, and Hebrew. The goal? Strip away every modern filter and drop the audience straight into first-century Jerusalem. Even before filming began, the air felt heavy, as if the cast and crew were stepping into something much bigger than themselves. The set was haunted. From day one, strange things started happening on set. During a scene on Golgotha, Jim Caviezel, hanging on the cross, was struck by lightning. The bolt hit his body, causing him to bite through his tongue and leading to 2 heart surgeries later. Moments later, the assistant director, Jan Michelini, was also struck, his second time during the shoot. Crew members whispered about a presence. A feeling. The kind of spiritual energy that made grown men cry during rehearsals and left others shaking after takes. The weather in Matera, Italy, usually stable, turned violent. Calm skies gave way to black storms. Wind tore through equipment. Felt like more than nature. Some began calling it a sign. Jim Caviezel's ordeal. What Jim Caviezel endured was nothing short of terrifying. During the scourging scene, a whip missed its mark and tore into his real flesh, leaving a 14-inch scar. Later, carrying the massive wooden cross, he slipped and dislocated his shoulder. The screams in that scene? Not acting, they were real. He developed hypothermia during the crucifixion shoot. His body was battered, bruised, and pushed to the edge. Jim was 30 at the time, the same age Jesus was at his crucifixion. His initials?
JC. Coincidence. Or something deeper.
The release that shook the world. The Passion of the Christ was finally released on February 25, 2004. It detonated. No red carpet.
No interviews.
Mel Gibson ignored Hollywood and brought the film to churches. Pastors, priests, and Christian influencers saw early screenings. Word spread fast. Churches booked entire theaters. Sermons were built around the release. For believers, this wasn't just a film. It was an event. And the numbers. Staggering. Opening day, $23.5 million. Opening weekend, $83.8 million. Final box office, $611 million globally. The most successful R-rated movie of its time, all without a single Hollywood star. The Passion of the Christ wasn't just a film. It was a spiritual earthquake. A cross that each person involved had to carry in their own way. And decades later, the echoes are still being felt. For Jim Caviezel, it cost his career. For Mel Gibson, it cost his reputation. For the rest, it changed them forever. Maybe that's why the silence continues. Because some stories can't be told. They must be felt.
So, what do you think?
Was The Passion of the Christ just a film, or something more? Let us know in the comments. And if this story moved you, don't forget to subscribe and check out our next documentary.